Plaintiff Robert Claunch says he befriended the defendant, and he became a father figure to her because she never knew her father. Robert says he met the defendant's boyfriend after he was released from jail, and he tried to be there for both of them. But he's suing because the defendant's boyfriend wrecked his truck and refuses to pay for it. Defendants Vanessa Dykes and her boyfriend Jamie Oakes admit that Jamie became friends with Robert after he was released from jail. But he's pretty sure that Robert was more interested in a friendship with Vanessa. Jamie says on the day of the accident, he smoked pot and drank a beer with Robert. And after the accident, Robert threatened his life, so he's countersuing for harassment.
Start with you.
Yes, Your Honor. I met Vanessa in 2009. She worked in the dollar store down from the street, and I was in there a lot. It's probably late spring of 2009. I got to know Vanessa because she'd never known her real father, and I felt a soft spot in my heart for her, and tried to help her in any way I could. 3 or 4 months after I met her, Jamie got out of jail. I met him. I didn't know who he was while he was in jail, but me and his father played basketball in high school. Okay. So I opened my heart up to Jamie too. Jamie's got a lot to learn, and maybe he should watch Creflo Dollar like I do. You know, this thing's had me in such an uprise, and it's been a hardship on me.
You said Creflo Dollar?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pastor?
He, I think he's a smart man just like you, Your Honor.
Yeah, I think he's smart too. I watch him from time to time on his broadcast.
To go on with what happened, Jamie had driven my truck before. I gave him permission. Before he ever drove my truck the first time, I told Jamie, I said, Jamie, if you wreck my truck, you're going to pay for it. Okay, Robbie, that's good.
Let me allow them to give some background before we get into the specifics of the truck you're suing them about.
Yes, sir. I met Robert after serving a year sentence in jail for possession of a controlled substance. After I was released, he was already friends with my girlfriend, Vanessa. And to my understanding, the first time he had met Vanessa, he walked into the dollar store and grabbed her by her ponytail. And because, I mean, she's a very pretty woman.
Excuse me, let me.
Go ahead.
After that, sir,
finish.
He brought her a bottle of tequila shortly after that. And after I was released, they were friends, and you know, me and him became friends, but I'm pretty sure that he was more friends with her than he ever wanted to be with me.
What do you want to tell me, sir?
But after I'd served the sentence out and found out about all this, me and Robert became friends, and he let me drive his truck periodically because, like, our car was always staying tore up, and you know,
where would she be when he send you off with the truck?
Oh shit! She was either at work or at home, sir.
All right, go ahead.
He let me drive to get back and forth to work, you know, sometimes.
Let me allow him to tell me, then you can respond.
Yes.
This is his lawsuit. Go ahead,
Your Honor. May I just mention one thing about the hair, first of all?
You wanted to borrow some?
No, I wanted hairspray first thing this morning. I did his makeup over here. But the one thing I read about the hair, my sister does wigs for kids because her daughter died at 4.5-year-old with bone marrow complications. And that's why I noticed her hair was pretty and she had it cut. And I said, I hope you send it to Wigs for Kids. That was what that was about.
Go ahead.
Anyhow, on the truck, about 4 days before, it was on a Sunday before Christmas of last year. Vanessa called me on a Sunday afternoon and asked me if I would come and pick them up and take them to get their children some Christmas. And I agreed to, and so I went and picked them up. And when on my way back to the house, I hadn't had a shower yet.
I interrupt you on
the house.
Let him finish.
I stopped by the house to take a shower. When I got out of the shower, Jamie was gone. I said, Vanessa, where's Jamie? Well, he's gone over to Yogi's. I said, Yogi's? He didn't ask to take my truck to Yogi's. So 20 to 30 minutes went by. Jamie shows up at my house crying like a little baby. Coming, I've wrecked your truck. I went out and looked and I said, where is my truck, Jamie? He left it in the ditch turned upside down. Well, that's where Billy comes in. But anyhow, what really got me was he had a 10-year-old child in the truck with him, someone else's.
Was he high or drunk?
I'm not going to say because maybe I've been there myself, Your Honor. But you know,
there was a 10-year-old in there.
There was a 10-year-old in there.
Was the 10-year-old injured?
No, sir.
Good.
Thank God.
Did he agree to pay?
Yes, sir, he did.
You were going to tell me about Jimmy. Did Jimmy want to speak?
Billy Baker here.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. State your name.
Billy Baker.
What do you want to tell me?
Well, on the night that the truck was turned over, Robbie asked me would I go get his truck for him. I said, sure, I'll go get your truck. So me and my wife hopped in my car. We went over to where the truck was at. From that point on, me and Robbie kind of had agreements, that they would kind of, work with each other, on the truck and everything, which I really had nothing to do with that at all.
All right. Let me hear from you, sir.
I did tell him I'd pay for all the damage. But, sir, when he picked us up from our house, he'd asked me to drive. Me with no license. The truck had no insurance or tags on it.
That's a lie.
He'd asked me to drive. And on the way back to his house, he asked me to stop by one of his house because I was driving to pick up a bag of weed. And when we got back to his house, me and him and her sat there. And I'm not going to be straight honest with you, sir. I'm not going to lie to you a bit. We smoked a joint together and drank one beer. And then I asked him if I could drive his truck to pick up my children because my mother was raising Cain over me not being there to pick up my children.
Your mother was blowing cane and you were smoking weed.
No, she was raising Cain over me not being there to get my children yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But on the way over there, I stopped by a friend's house to pick up some money that he had owed me, and the road conditions were terrible. I mean, it'd been raining for like 3 or 4 days. I was going to my mother's house. We was almost there, and I had to make a left turn onto a road, and it had a long right turn going up a hill. And when I hit third gear in the truck, it jumped sideways a little with me, and I tried to correct. Well, apparently I overcorrected just a little bit. When it slid sideways, the 2 front tires hit the ditch, and it flipped over on its top.
How much did you agree to pay him in total?
$2,000.
All right.
I paid him $475. But the reason I quit paying, sir, is because he was calling me. He told me, you're a convicted felon. He said, I have a concealed carry. He said, I'm going to shoot you.
That's a lie.
So from there on, I told him to cram the gun and the truck because I'm not going to pay anything if somebody's threatening to kill me, after I'd already been paying. And it was a verbal agreement over the payment.
You might want to look at that the opposite way. That might be the reason you want to pay. The counterclaim for harassment is also for $475.
That's how much money I paid him on the truck.
All right, sir. His only defense today is you threatened to kill him, so he doesn't think he owes.
Okay. What it is, Johnny, I think $340 or $50 maybe is what he paid me. He came back after the truck was wrecked. He wanted to take and try to get it fixed. I went by to check on the truck because it'd been 4 or 5 weeks since anything was done to it. Well, I noticed the stereo was gone. And if I may, let Billy tell you the part about the stereo, and I have pictures of where it is missing out of the vehicle.
Billy?
Right here, yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Well, Jamie called, said, I got a stereo. If you're interested in one, I said, yeah, I'd be interested in one. Went out of his house, looked at it, said, okay. He wanted like $50 for it. So I went ahead, gave him, traded him my old radio and $25 cash for it, and took it home, put it in my car and everything. So I was over Robbie's house one night. He said, something about the stereo being stolen out of his truck. I said, well, what kind of stereo was it? And he got to telling me what kind it was. I said, you need to come outside and look at something. And I opened the door, turned it on. I said, is that your radio? He said, yep.
Sir, did you have anything to do with that?
I didn't steal the stereo on that, so I'm pretty sure they didn't quit making the same Iowa that
Where did you get it?
From my cousin, from some money that he owed me.
Okay, so it wasn't the same as his?
It was an Iowa that I traded Billy, but I don't know if it's the same Iowa that came out of Robbie's truck.
All right, good enough.
Robbie said it was.
Is that why you pulled the pistol on him?
I didn't put my pistol on him. I didn't put my pistol on him.
Why are you telling me all that? You telling me just to
he
make
knows
it
I've
show
got a
that he's
concealed
more
carry.
crooked?
He knows I got a concealed carry permit. And, he called me one morning. He said I harassed him. I've never called him and harassed him.
Did you threaten to shoot him?
No, sir.
Yes, you did.
He knows I've got a concealed carry, and that's why he runs
He feared
the
that you might because he knows you have a concealed weapons permit, and he knows that he ripped you off.
Yes, sir.
That's what you believe, and so therefore he would assume that you're going to shoot him. Because you're known to shoot anybody that rips you off.
I've not shot anybody to this date, Your Honor.
That is a lie. He is consistently harassed. Both
Sir,
of us.
I'm going to grant your judgment. I believe you over him. And 1740 is your judgment. All right, have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
For the plaintiff.
Your Honor, I'd like to tell you before I leave, all your staff here has been wonderful. And I love your show. You're a smart man. I'd vote for you for president.
Thank you. You
I'd
said
like to
my
shake-
staff has been nice.
Wonderful. Can I shake your hand?
Did you go
before
through
I
that
leave?
hair?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Did you go through that? I'm
They
talking
got it
about
all
the
down.
staff. Now, you want to shake my hand, certainly. All right. Keep up the good work. Keep your faith.
Thank you, Honor. I love you, brother.
Tell Pastor Dollar I said hi. All right.
I want to say that I have no animosity for either one of them whatsoever. I'll pray for him and hope Jamie gets some help because he needs it. And may God bless you all.
May God bless you yourself, because you can always repent for lying, Robbie.